כל השנה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן העולם הבא. בעזרת השם, what's your name? Daniel. My name is Avram Sofer. So Hashem, we're learning today the two mitzvot of the Hashpa'ah of the day. Today are the two mitzvot are number 551 and 552. The first mitzvah we'll be discussing is mitzvah of lotir bashatnes, a prohibition of wearing wool and linen together. Bezat Hashem, we'll be discussing that. And mitzvah number 552, an obligation of a man before he engages a woman to actually be mikadesh her, to engage her in a certain aspects. Can't just do whatever, any frivolity. It's not, as Rambam says, in the olden days, a man would meet a woman in the shuk, she wants and he wants, and they do whatever they want to do. Today, there's a mitzvah d'oraita to be mikadesh isha, and that's number 552. B'ezrat Hashem, the mitzvot are sponsored today, l'refuah shlema l'kol cholei amo Yisrael, u'bichlalam, atzinok that was mentioned, I don't know his name, I forgot the name, you know the name? Refuah shlema, my dear friend, Daniel ben Angela, refuah shlema, and my father-in-law, Yosef Chaim ben Efrat, and Chaya bat Leah, refuah shlema. B'ezrat Hashem, mitzvah number 551. It says like this, שלא נלבש בגד מחומר מצמר ופשתים, וזהו נקרא shatnez. So we have a prohibition in the Torah to wear any beged, any clothing. Usually, today it's very common in the suits that we wear that are woven from wool, and also the linen. It's actually talking about pishtan, flax that comes off the tree. There's a flax that grows off the tree that they make it into linen. They weave it and they make it into material. And usually, sometimes it happens that it's here. Many times the shatnez people will check the labs. They could actually see the threads, the specificity of the threads that are used. It's very uncommon, especially, it's mostly common, very, very high-end clothing. Right? Some end clothing have it, but very, very common, mostly common on high-end clothing. Be surprised, I saw that the Hugo boots, the Hugo boots, which recently was published, there was the lining inside there, was wool and linen. Yeah, even boots. All right, how far do we go? We go even to the mattress. A person sleeps on, as we'll see, that libush doesn't really necessarily mean something that I put on completely, something that actually covers my body. So if you're a mattress, when you sit down on the mattress, right, the mattress bends a little bit, and now it's kiviyachon milbash, it's clothed your body. And therefore, that will be also restriction, even in the mattress. There's people that are meticulous. I remember in our yeshiva, there was once a rabbi came and he started checking everybody's mattresses and the holes up. Some yes, some no, there was shatnez. Most mattresses don't have that issue, but if there is, there's a question. It says in the Torah, in chapter 22, in Dvarim, Pasuk 11, Lo tilbash shatnez tzemer upishtim yachdav. You're prohibited of wearing clothing that have shatnez, that have that have a wool and linen mixture together. Again, you could have a 100% woolen suit. Even the linen, everything is kosher 100%. But all you need is one thread of linen that holds anything. Halas, that makes the whole suit a shatnez. What is the problem? Again, Baruch Hashem, that question has over 42 million answers. But however, the chinuch is going to give us a little sample. What are we talking about here? Remes B'Shoshan Mitzvah Katarti B'Seder Mishpatim. I already told this past. It was already mentioned in the mitzvah number 62. Some explanation of what's entails in this mitzvah. However, Rambam Zal Katav B'Ta'am Ha'isur. Rambam explains what's the main reason. Shelefi shehayu komrei avodah zarah lovshin b'zman ahu kenu. In the olden times, that was the galaks of the Zarah, the ones who are the Kohanim or the people who are in charge of the Zorah. That was the levush that they were wearing. Same thing. There is a concept of some of the Zorah people who are in Mitzrayim. Again, why is he alluding to the Mitzrayim? You have to understand somewhat. Somebody told me once that shatnez emanates energy. Like everything in this world, everything in the world emanates energy. And most of our clothing that we wear, they're 100%, not 100%, 100 level of energy and below. So everything we wear is standard, 100 and below. That's how much energy that clothes have. Somebody pointed out that the mixture of shatnez is 10,000. Okay, so if it has to do anything with komarim, obviously we're talking about Avodah Zarah, which entails a lot of Avodah Zarah, entails the magic powers of the black magic. So you can understand now if you are in that business and you want to fool people and you want to make some things that are out of ordinary, is now you understand why.
How can you test it? Is there like a test?
Yeah, they have tests. You have to give it to somebody that learns the specific lessons. They know what, where, and how. Most they just by looks, they already could tell you if it has anything. It's not something that would be kedusha. I mean, many holy people there was. There was once a Rebbe. I don't remember the Rebbe's name. A Hasidic Rebbe. That he wouldn't put on socks. Anytime he touched the socks, he would get burnt. Okay, he wouldn't put on socks, and they found out that socks company were mixing linen and wool together. So you see, there is some kind of spiritual aspect in it, but more than that, we're talking about if you're dealing with Avodah Zarah, as Rambam points out, obviously there is a kesher between Avodah Zarah and black magic, and therefore also, by the way, Russian soldiers. Okay, people understand that the Russia was very much into going against Torah. And so they were all forced, all the soldiers were forced to wear shatnez clothing. All Russian army clothes, shatnez. And there's more than this. By the way, the linen, the wires that surround to protect electricity, also they put wool and linen. There's a lot of connotation. There's a lot of not mystical. There's electrical powers that it produces, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us to stay away from it. Like what you're wearing right now, what I'm wearing right now is less than 100 of the level of electricity, right? But the shatnez performs about 10 times the amount. So obviously, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to keep us away from that. שאין איסור מן התורה בחברת צמר ופשתים אלא בשווה טובי ונוז. Okay? So again, according to Torah, the whole isur is weaving them together. Okay? Today, 99%, if not 100%, we don't have that issue. It's going to be Mistamad Rabbanan, that he's telling you that the whole point of Isur Doraita is taking the wool as it's not formed 100%, the woolen is not 100%, and then weaving them together and forming a clothing. But again, with the web of Atzmo, we know of Atzmo, Pirush no, okay, so now, V'chen Apshat Kemo, Ken, Shabbat Windows, so the Rabbi says, מכיוון שעשה בהם שני קשרים, זהו שטנז דאורייתא ללקוט עליו. אבל כל זמן שלא נעשו בהן שלושה המלאכות שנכתבו, אין זה שטנז דאורייתא, אלא מדרבנן קצת מפרשים. So there's a מחלוקת. Now, some say no, right? Some say no, even if you sew two items together, like you have a suit out of wool, and the entire linen part over here, made technically, this is called linen, but it's not linen, but it's just lining. Yeah. But the whole lining is out of linen. Okay, that would be the Rabbanan. Okay, the writer is making them, mixing them together at the beginning process. Again, that's still machloket. Some say no, that's also going to be the writer. Okay, so because it's a machloket, the isur of lashes has to be done in the aspect as we mentioned that everybody agrees with the writer. אבל בדרבנן אסור כל שנעשה בהן אחד מן המלאכות שזכרנו, או שווה או תאווה או נוז. So it depends what was, if it was only one aspect of the job, that would be the Rabbanan, and therefore they would not get lashed. וזהו אמרם זכרונם לברכה, הלבדין אסורין. כלומר מדרבנן מפני שהן שווה. ובין המפרשים שאמרו דמלאכה אחת אלו אסורין מדאורייתא, שאמרו כי בכאן אסור כלומר מדאורייתא. So again, so there's a big mahloket in the weaving process of the 3 stages. So according to some that say even 1 stage is already isur deoraita. If one of them was mixed in a certain way, that would be already the right. The question is still, obviously, if there's machloket, we don't get lashed, but midoraita, to be required lashes, you're going to require all 3 from the beginning and mixing it up. Where you find all this halachot more in Masechta Yoma, Samachtet, page 269, Amud Aleph, Binyan Zeh, Afilu 10 מצאות זו על גבי זה וחליים תחתיהן אסור לשב עליהן דרך הישינן שמא תכרח נעימה על בשרו. You hear what's going on here? So let's say if you have a mattress, that's what we're talking about. You have a mattress and you could put 10 mattresses on top of it. It's still the Rabbanan will be asur. Well, I don't know, somehow maybe you will get to it, which will be a problem. Okay, that will touch his body and therefore it will be in the concept of libush. דבר זה אמרו זכרונם לברכה, כשאותן הכליים אשר מתחתיהן רקין, כי אז יש בדבר חשש הזה, זה של כריכה. ואיסור זה הוא מדרבנן, דאילו מדאורייתא מותר אפילו כשהן רקין. Okay, so again, if you're talking about if it's if you put 10 mattresses on top of each other mattress, it's not going to be so easy. Not so easy to get to the 10th mattress. But he's saying it has to be like maybe a sheet when they're soft, and there is a possibility that you're going to use a sheet. Okay, that's the Rabbanan also. It's still the Rabbanan. The Oraita will be that if you have, let's say, one sheet and you put another sheet on top of it, that will be already no longer the Oraita. Okay, let's just say, let's go finish it up over here. ועובר על זה ולבש, ונוהג איסור זה בכל מקום, בכל זמן, בזכרים מן הנקבות. So obviously the isur is not just only for men, it's for men and women, and any time, anywhere in the world. You ended up in a space shuttle, and that will be also the isur will pertain. ועובר על זה, ולבש כליים דאורייתא, או התכסה בהן חייב מלכות. So that's where you see even the sheet. Somebody took a sheet or a mattress. If you dressed up in something that has wool and linen together, you already will have with a warning. If a person is warned not to do it, and he disregards the warning, he will get lash. Now, this is what I tell all my students. This is the worst part, right? What is the worst part? If the Rabbanan, if a person is, what does it say? Chazal say, what are we talking about? He made fun of people washing hands. Sometimes I tell people, it's not properly. You just put water on top of your hand. You're supposed to spin your hand in order to get the whole circle. Rabbi, I'm washing, right? So you're washing. So what are you doing exactly? Making fun of Rabbanan. So if somebody's making fun of Rabbanan, chayav mitah. Now we're talking about over here. It's catch 22. Middoraita is if he does livush, putting directly on himself 39 lashes with a warning. But if a Hacham comes to a person and says to him, listen, Habibi, what you're wearing is the Rabbanan. Yes, it's true, a cap maybe. It's not woven together, whatever it is, it's the Rabbanan. We discover this cap is the Rabbanan, or Hugo shoes, let's say. Now the rabbi tells him, you're not allowed to wear it. Not allowed to wear it. I don't care. He gets a warning. I don't care. How many lashes did he get? 10,000 until he dies. Wow. Until Chozer Bo or he dies. One of those. That's what the Chayav Midrabanan means. The Kol Mezazel B'divrei Chazal, Chayav Mitah. Anybody who doesn't follow the rabbis, many people. I get a phone call. Rabbi, what's the question? Here's the question. Here's the answer. Is this from the rabbis or from the Torah? I said, do me a favor, don't call me again. I answer you the question. It's asur or it's mutar. Don't ask me Rabbanan, the Oraita. The Rabbanan is even worse than the Oraita. As we see right now, it tells you. That Chayav Mardud, Makat Mardut is until he does tshuva or he dies. It's one of those. Okay? Mitzvah number 552. שנצטווינו לקנות האישה באחד משלושה דרכים קודם הנישואין. So before a person performs an act of marriage with again, it's Kedai point out right now, again, mitzvah number 288, before we learn that it's an Isur D'Oraita. Many people have a big misconception. What's the misconception? Rabbi just shook her hand, big deal, business deal, we have to shake her hand. A man is not allowed to touch any woman, ever. It's an Isur D'Oraita. Many people think it's the Rabbanan. It's not Rabbanan. If it's the Rabbanan, it would be worse. D'Oraita, how do we know it's D'Oraita? The Chinuch explains, whatever you do to your wife, you're not allowed to do to any woman. Unless you perform the mitzvah of Kiddushin. So if you didn't engage a woman, you're not allowed to touch her. Why? Because your wife you touch. You touch a finger of your wife. For what purpose? Says the Chinuch over there explains, you touch your wife in order to go to the Sof Davar, to perform the mitzvah with her. So why are you touching another woman? So he gives a knetch over there. It's a Isur D'Oraita to touch any woman in any form, at any time. I think they can't touching even your daughter. He goes into the whole concept over there.
You can.
Huh?
You can touch your
if it's just touching, without what's his name, without any feelings. If he has any feelings, khalas, asur, asur. Yeah, even no, don't touch. דרכים אלו ביאור חכמים, בסדר קידושין over there, בסדר דף obviously Ketzad Isha Niknet over there discusses how you acquire the issue of a woman through the four terms. Shehen bekesef, b'shtar, or b'biyah, through the three things. I'm sorry. Kesef, give her gold or silver of value. B'shtar, with a contract that you're going to fulfill something. Let's say even just saying that you want to be a Talmid Chacham, even a Gdol Hador or something. Or b'biyah, or somebody performs an act with her, which is asur in our days. It says over there, chapter 22 in Dvarim, Mishnah, Pasuk Yud Gimel, 13. Kikach ish isha o ba'aleha. Anyone who engages a woman and fulfills with her the mitzvah of ishut, of marriage. Klamar, im yirtzeh ish lekach lo isha, yikneh ota tchila bebiya. Right? So now there's a concept of a woman. A man could take a woman. First, he has to do some acquisition. ומה שאמר הכתוב, ויצא והייתה בו בעלה והפירוש, כי כמו שיצא מהאישה, so we explain over there that he could perform the mitzvah of בבייה, by being with her, he could perform the mitzvah of a contract, just like she goes out with a contract, so he could acquire her with it. contract, כמו שכתוב, בסדר זה, בעזרת השם, as we explain, mitzvah number later on, 579 of בעזרת השם, כי הבא עליו, כלומר, קנית האישה ההיא בשטר. So we learn over there mitzvah number 579, when people don't know that it's a mitzvah actually to give a get to your wife. It's a mitzvah 579, when a man wants to separate from a woman or whatever he wants to do, send her away, for whatever the reason is, he has to give her a get, not just like, but a goyim, there is no get concept. What's the eshet ish by goy? Eshet ish by a goy, we know that as long as they're living together. The moment that she either was kidnapped, no longer, army came and took her away, that's what the mitzvah of eshet yefator. Once the army, let's say even the soldiers are alive, let's say her husband is alive, there's no problem. Right? The moment is by the woman who works, as soon as she comes out of the door. Al menat not to go back. By the goyim, as soon as the woman goes out of the house on the condition that she doesn't come back, that's already no more eshet ish. No more there's a problem with eshet ish. There's a whole discussion of it. That's the whole concept of Ishat. How can somebody take a woman that's married? Okay. גם כן, שהיא נקנית בכסף בדכתיב בהמה העברייה, as already we could learn by the Yol, who was כביכול, the people in the misconception that a father sells his daughter. Baruch Hashem, take a look at in our previous discussion. There's no such a concept that a father is selling his daughter. It's actually it's a matanat tova, a beautiful gift that Hashem gave to this world. You have a poor girl from a poor family. It will never happen that she'll marry into a rich family. But that's what Hashem wants. What are you going to do? So what did he do? He made the father go literally broke, and now he has a 5-6-year-old girl, and he wants to make sure that the son of the rich man is going to have a good wife. What's the best marriage in the world? What is the best marriage in the world, you think? Which is Asur. It's Isur Doraita. The best marriage would be a brother and a sister. That would be the most ideal marriage in the world. Why? Why? Because they're groomed for each other. They're groomed for each other. A brother and a sister. They know each other whether they like or not. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Atkan, you're not marrying your sister. So what are you allowed to marry? You're allowed to marry a maidservant, the Jewish maidservant that was in your house, who's also now groomed for you. And it's a beautiful concept. People don't understand that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had a chesed. He had a chesed. So now you have a poor family, intermarrying a rich family. And now what happens? The father-in-law of the girl is going to make sure that her father is going to become elevated now. He's going to give him business. Who wants to have a poor in-laws? Go. It's all chesed. People don't understand. The whole Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is guiding us. His father, he's working with us. Okay, מדיני המצווה, משורש המצווה, שזמן התורה לעשות מעשה באישה יורה העניין זיווגים טרם ישכב עמה. So same thing, the whole purpose over here is to make a tangible idea, not just a man with a woman, bye-bye, خلاص. It has to be down to kavod. There's a I don't understand these people. We're just finished 30 seconds more. The people don't understand this conception. The Jews don't respect their wives. Yeah, right. By our woman, the wife who goes with a fur coat and the man is wearing what? A raincoat with a London fog raincoat, and she's wearing a fur coat. Yeah, we disrespect our woman. There's a misconception. Everything is so from this world. Right? There's a whole thing, obviously, is about kavod, as we know that the man is obligated to honor his wife more than himself. He has to spend more money on her than he earns. There's so many obligations to Baruch Hashem. Now anybody who goes ahead, has v'shalom, and engages a woman without giving her the kesef kedushin, without doing the kinyan, he goes with her and does the shoot. It's a isur hamur ad meod, and we have other places where he gets actually lashed. A man that's with a woman without a kiddushin, he gets punished and 39 malkut. And over here, obviously, to prevent that, the Kadosh Baruch Hu commands us to go and perform the mitzvah of engaging her. Have a wonderful day. If you have to go make a living, go make a living without any headaches.
Amen.